We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Eagle unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Turki Alalshikh has reiterated his desire to see Terrence Bud Crawford, that boy Bud, versus Baby, you want Baby, I know that. Canelo Alvarez. Ego thoughts, man. Let's get it. Listen, the WBC, they're doing their annual convention. They had it in Germany. Turkey got some kind of award for like boxing man of the year or something. And he says he wants Klitschko to come back, which is a bit weird. Like, where did that even come from? You want to see Klitschko? You want to see Klitschko return? I mean, what's next? Lennox Lewis? Like, guys are retired. I don't know. I'm always a bit weary about guys that retire and then come back. And the only exception I would say is like a Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, because they're still in the public eye. You could tell they take care of themselves and stuff like that. Ukraine's been at war with Russia. I don't know what the Klitschkos have been up to, and I feel like he's been out the loop for a while, but I don't want to get too sidetracked on Klitschko. I guess if that's your wishes, it's weird. But I feel it a bit weird that I feel like Turkey, he has the money and the influence, I guess, and he's trying to make these fights. I'm not really sold on Canelo versus Terrence Crawford. I really do not understand this fixation from some to see this fight. I really don't. And it's so funny to me that Bud literally just fought Israel Madrimov, and I thought he edged it in the late rounds, but boy, it was close and it was chippy in them early goings. I think the feints, the size, the power, the style of Israel Madrimov gave Bud some issue. Plus, it was his first fight in a new weight class, so it kind of balanced out and made it a competitive fight. So with that being said, that fight did not help the case. Before that fight, I didn't want to see Crawford versus Canelo, but after watching that at 54, it hurt it even more, right? And that's the beauty of boxing. Boxing is a sport where you got to pay your dues. Like when I was a kid, I was in the Boy Scouts, right? To be in the Boy Scouts, because they take trips, there's supplies, and we were building derbies and tying knots and making toolboxes, all kinds of stuff when I was a Boy Scout, right? You got to pay dues to be in Boy Scout. So to be a boxer is like the last Boy Scout. Touch me again, I kill you, right? You the last Boy Scout. You got to pay your dues every time you step in the ring. Not like, oh, I did all this in 2012, so celebrate me. No, if you're active in 2024, 2025, you got to maintain and continue to pay dues. So boxing has always been a what have you done for me lately type of sport. And I just don't feel the Crawford performance at 54 was strong enough for the interest to really be there. Listen, I don't doubt that boxing hardcores would have some interest in the fight, but I don't think what Crawford thinks. He says it's the biggest fight in boxing. I don't think that. But again, you could come out to the Bay Area and watch two crackheads fight, and people will gather around for that. So I think if you have some semblance of branded people, you can maybe attract some of an audience. Like you look at Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, you didn't really see me overly like hyped about that fight. I knew what that was. I knew how it was going to play out, and I was right. So people watched it though, so I don't doubt that people would have some level of interest in the fight, especially with Canelo. Canelo could really fight anyone, and Crawford is respected in the fight game. He's a great fighter, but I just don't see Turkey and some of the fans, why they're so like infatuated with this fight. I feel truly there are so many other fights that are just overall better. Like Crawford just got to 54. You fought one person and it was competitive, and then we're supposed to see you bypass 160, bypass 168. Canelo already told you, hey, my friend, I was born ready, right? He told you he's not moving down. So that's out the question. So this is a complete shot in the dark how Crawford will look at a new weight class. Like, we seen Crawford hurt at lighter weight classes, like when he fought Gamboa. He was in his backyard in Omaha and got rocked by Gamboa and his leg stiffened up, right? So it's like, I don't understand this. And again, out of respect, you can't really count Crawford out of any fight, but I'm over the fights that really don't need to happen, and it's a complete shot in the dark. And I get it to a degree. All fights are quote unquote a shot in the dark, and both combatants kind of have a chance to win, etc. But I'm talking about with the rapid weight class changing. I've never been big on that because it just, for me, I'm old school. It doesn't make sense. I think moving up in weight, it needs to happen for certain fighters, their body type, their phenotype, stuff like that. But it's more of a gradual process, like Pacquiao, like Floyd Mayweather. These guys didn't just move up and move up and move up. Like, it was a process over the years, and then they solidify themselves. Now we're at an age of social media where people try to hurry up and raise the temperature on a fight, and it's really not a fight that's marinated and built to the point where it's gonna do as well as you think. And people, it's like boxing back in the day was a nice home cooked meal where you have to season the meat, put it in a marinade overnight, take it out 30 minutes to an hour, take the steaks out the fridge 30 minutes, an hour before you're about to cook. You had to prepare and chop some veggies, make some mashed potatoes, like go to the store for an ingredient, a nice home cooked meal. Versus what I'm seeing in social media is TV dinners. Crawford-Canelo is a hungry man dinner. It's not like this fight. No one even thought that this would be something we would even be talking about. And then people are trying to hurry up and make that hungry man Salisbury steak dinner, as opposed to Canelo should be fighting Bivol, better be a rematch winner, Morrell, Benavidez winner. You know, maybe if Caleb Plant gets another win or something, a rematch with Caleb Plant, I think they could do some numbers there. You know, these types of fights. Not somebody that's 2 divisions below him and only has 1 fight. So it's almost like you're 3 divisions below him because you spent more of your time over the last several years at welterweight. So I really don't get why Turki and some are so big on this fight. I mean, maybe for Turki, he feels it's a big show and he's never done a show with Canelo. So that will probably be his biggest show because of Canelo's name being attached to it. So it could be that. I don't know, but I don't really like it. And boxing fans are very inconsistent. When Tank fights a champion from 1 division below, like Hector Luis Garcia and Lamont Roach, people are confused. People say they're not going to give Tank credit for it, etc., etc. But Canelo, they want to see him fight somebody who is 2 divisions underneath him, really 3, because he only has 1 fight in at 154, and you're okay with that. You know, you're okay with Jaron Ennis moving up to 54 to fight Virgil Ortiz. You're okay with, you know, Teofimo moving up to fight Jaron Ennis, but Tank fighting a guy directly underneath him is a problem. But you want to see Crawford move up 2.5 weight classes at age 37 because he's saying he can beat Canelo. The other thing is Canelo, I don't care what you say about him. He has slow feet. He has these flaws. He's getting older, whatever. One thing we know is Canelo got a beard. He has a chin. And if Crawford didn't chin Madrimov, and Canelo's never been knocked down as a pro that I've ever seen. He got rocked a long time ago by Cotto's brother, but I'm talking about an actual, something that was counted a knockdown where his butt's on the canvas from a punch. Then how is Crawford gonna move up all this weight in one fell swoop and knock this man out. So basically, to me, that would stipulate Crawford's only path to victory is to try to outbox Canelo. Or, yeah, I mean, because I don't know that he can be in there with Canelo and get greedy and then try to sleep Canelo. And if Crawford's not really a one-punch knockout guy at 47, Errol Spence was not unconscious, and Errol Spence, that was perhaps his worst performance for whatever reason, right? So if you didn't one-punch Mean Machine or a guy like Errol Spence, like given the condition he looked like he was in, you didn't one-punch knockout Madrimov, I really don't see it with Canelo. I really don't. So again, that's just my thoughts, ego thoughts, food for thought. Let me know what you think.